Hello students, let's continue with Science 1, Chapter 9, Carbon Compounds, Part 2. In this part, we will be studying about hydrocarbons, the saturated and unsaturated, straight chain, branch chain, and rings of carbon atoms, functional groups in carbon compound, and homologous series. The hydrocarbons, saturated and unsaturated, which we have slightly studied about it in our previous class. Let's see furthermore in detail. First topic, hydrocarbons, saturated and unsaturated. The compound which contain carbon and hydrogen, the only two elements, are called as hydrocarbon. As the name suggests, hydrocarbon, hydro for hydrogen, carbon is for carbon. So when carbon and hydrogen come together, that compound is called as your hydrocarbon. They are the simplest and the fundamental organic compounds. So carbon and hydrogen when come together, they are nothing but your hydrocarbon, and they are the simplest and the fundamental, that means the basic organic compound. The first one hydrocarbon is methane with the molecular formula CH4, and ethane with the molecular formula C2H6. Methane has one carbon and four hydrogen. Ethane has two carbon and six hydrogen. Now we will see the steps how to write the line structure, the structural formula of the hydrocarbon. So step 1 is write the line structure of hydrocarbon and join the carbon atoms in the molecule with the carbon bond. First we will see that how many carbon is there. Then first we will join the carbon and carbon with a single bond. This is your first step. And in the second step, we will complete the valency of the carbon by using the hydrogen molecule. So the second step is use the hydrogen atoms in the molecular formula so as to fulfill the remaining valency of the tetravalent carbon atom. Okay, let's see how to form the electron dot structure as well as the structural formula of the carbon compounds. Regarding methane we have already seen in the previous video. So we move to the next one, that is ethane. The molecular formula is C2H6. As the molecular formula suggests, there are two carbon atoms. So what we will do, first we will join the two carbon atoms with a single bond. So two carbon atoms, join it with a single bond. Then the next step is to fulfill the remaining valencies of the tetravalent carbon atom. So now if you see the hydrogen, there are 6 hydrogen, and each of the carbon is nothing but tetravalent in nature. Out of the tetravalent, one valency is fulfilled when the two of the carbon atoms are joined by a single bond. So we are left with three valencies of each carbon atom, and therefore three bonds on the first carbon atom and three bonds on the second carbon atoms are formed, and therefore the formula of ethane becomes C2H6, wherein the tetravalent nature of the carbon is completed. So this is the line structure or the structural formula of ethane. Okay students, in the previous slide we saw about the line structure of ethane. Now we will be seeing the electron dot structure of ethane. Ethane is nothing but C2H6, so 2 carbon. Now according to the step First step is that the single bond is taking place between carbon and carbon. So the two bonds, so the electrons which are highlighted in blue color, so this bond will first take place. So we get a single bond. Then we have three valence electrons of each carbon left. On carbon 1 there are 3 left, in carbon 2 3 are left, and hydrogen is 6, so it will be divided 3 hydrogen per carbon atom, so we get 3 hydrogen. Now this hydrogen electron and the valent carbon electron will form a bond, so they merge together and the bond is formed. In this way we see that the valency or the outermost orbit of carbon as well as hydrogen is completed, and this is the final electron dot structure of ethane molecule. Next one is electron dot structure of ethane. One more. These are the four electrons. Then the two carbon is replaced by a single bond. Since there are three valency of carbon left, it is fulfilled by hydrogen atoms, and therefore four bonds are formed. Sorry, three bonds between carbon and hydrogen are formed. So one bond is between carbon and carbon, and three other bonds are formed between carbon and hydrogen of each of the carbon atom. The next one is propane. Ethane and propane, the valencies are satisfied by the single bond. Methane, ethane and propane, the valencies are satisfied by the single bond. In ethane and propane, the carbon and carbon bond which is taking place is only a single bond in nature, and the remaining valencies are fulfilled by the hydrogen atom. The electronic dot structure of propane is also shown in the adjoining figure. These are called as saturated compound. Now, why are they called as saturated compound? Because they have only single bond present, and that is why they are called as a saturated compound. So, ethane and propane are saturated hydrocarbons. These saturated hydrocarbons are called as alkanes because there is only single bond present in them. That is why such type of compounds are called as alkanes. We have a series of alkanes, but for now we will be just studying about, I have just shown you all about ethane and propane. Now we'll move to the next one, that is ethene, with the molecular formula C2H2. Now let's see. We have carbon. Now I'm not showing the two electrons. We will just see the outermost electron, that is 4 electrons. Okay. Now as the molecular formula is C2H4, that means there are only 4 hydrogen molecules present. So the first step is that there is a bond formation taking place between the first two carbon, that is a single bond. So the first two bonds are formed between the carbon atom. Next one is C2H4. H4 means two hydrogen on each of the carbon atom. So we have two hydrogen atoms bonding with two valence electrons of carbon. So we get two hydrogen molecules bonded to each of the carbon atom. Now if you see here, there is one more pair of electrons left. That means one on first carbon and one on second carbon electron. That means one pair of electron is left. These two pair of electrons come together and form a second bond between carbon and carbon, because it has to complete its valency, that is a tetravalency. it will form bond between carbon and carbon only, because the molecular formula is C2H4. There is no other additional component coming, and that is why the to fulfill its valency, the carbon and carbon, already one bond is formed. They again form a second bond, and that is why we get two bonds, that is a double bond between carbon and carbon molecule. And that is why your ethene structure is nothing but CH2 double bond CH2, and the molecular formula is C2H4. Next we'll move to ethylene. Ethylene molecular formula is C2H2. We will take first two carbon, so the carbon is 2, carbon valency is 4, so 4 electrons. The first step is there is a single bond taking place. So the two bonds, that is the first two electrons, are coming together and a single bond is formed between them. Then the next one, the molecular formula suggests that it has only two hydrogen. So one elect one carbon atom will get one hydrogen, another carbon atom joins or combines with one hydrogen. So we get two hydrogen molecules which are joined to individual carbon atoms. Now if you see, there are two carbon atoms left on the first carbon atom and two electrons left on the second carbon atom. Now this two pair of electrons, to complete its electronic configuration and the tetravalency, will come together. So they will come together and form a bond between each other, and we get three pairs of covalent bond, that is the triple bond between the two carbon atoms. This is your ethylene molecule. Okay, the structural formula of ethylene: carbon to carbon, there are three bonds, and one bond is formed with the hydrogen. So CH triple bond CH is ethylene. Double bond or triple bond: when there is a double bond or triple bond in a carbon chain, they are generally unsaturated compounds. And ethene and ethylene, just as we saw in the previous slides, are generally unsaturated hydrocarbons. So we already saw that if it is a single bond, it is a saturated hydrocarbon, and if there is a double or a triple bond in nature, then it is generally an unsaturated compound. So unsaturated hydrocarbons with a double bond are called as alkenes, and unsaturated hydrocarbons are called as alkynes. Okay, they are generally more reactive as compared to alkenes. Okay, so unsaturated hydrocarbon with a double bond is called as alkenes. Unsaturated hydrocarbon triple bond is called as alkynes, and saturated hydrocarbon with single bond are called as alkanes. So we have a series of elements in this. We will be studying that in the the next part. Now we move to the next one, that is straight branching or ring of a carbon atom. If you see this, methane, ethane, propane, these are the first three compounds in your alkane chain. Okay, methane, ethane, propane. If you see in the structure, as the number of carbon increases, the chain is getting extended. This is an example of your straight chain because it is increasing in one only direction. Carbon atom is the core over here. Core means in the center, and hydrogen atom is in the periphery of the molecule. That means it's outside. Hydrogen are present at the outside towards the exit, and the carbon is present in the center. Because carbon is the core element with a tetravalency, and because of this the carbon will be in the center. Hydrogen is coming to fulfill the valency of carbon, and that is why it is present at the outside or the periphery of the molecule. Mutually bonded carbon atoms, so when they are mutually bonded together, like for example ethane, when they are bonded together, ethane, propane, butane, when they bound together, they form the skeleton of the molecule. So the outer structure of the molecule is formed. Carbon skeleton determines the shape of the molecule of a carbon compound. So the carbon skeleton, how is the carbon attached? Now for example, which I have shown in the picture, they are arranged in a straight chain. So we come to know that it is a straight compound. If it is present or it is in the branch form, then we get to know the molecule or the shape of the compound. Straight chain of carbon atom is formed by joining the carbon atoms which are next to each other. Like I already said, the carbon compound is decreasing and they are added on to the one side, and that is why they are called as your straight chain carbon compound. Few examples, this table is already mentioned in your textbook. Straight chain of carbon atom, if you see the first one, structural formula C with 4 bonds on the sides of carbon. The molecular formula is CH4. The name is methane. This methane to decane is your series of carbon atoms in the alkane group. So methane starts with one carbon till we move to decane having 10 carbon atoms. We will Now we already studied about methane, ethane and propane. Ethane and propane I have already shown you in the previous slide. You will complete this table on your own. We move to propane now. Propane, if you see, 3 carbon atoms as it was shown in the previous slide. Now we have to fulfill the valencies of the carbon. So there are the remaining bonds are being completed by the hydrogen atom. Now how do I write the molecular formula? So first step in writing the molecular formula is you will count the number of carbon. So when you count the number of carbon, carbon is nothing but 3. Then you will count the remaining hydrogen atoms which are there. So when you count the remaining hydrogen, they are nothing but 8. And that is why the molecular formula for propane is C3H8. Similarly, for the other series of alkanes, you will be doing it on your own. The first one was done. The second one I have shown you all. Okay, now let's move to butane. Butane has the molecular formula C4H10. Now if you see, I have represented the butane, that is a carbon chain, in 4 different ways. But all the four different way of representation tells me that this carbon chain has the name butane because there are 4 carbon atoms present in each of the different representation. Now we'll see the two structural formula of the molecular formula, that is C4H10, which is nothing but butane. So the first one which is there is on my right hand side. If you see, this is the this is the straight chain representing butane. And on my left hand side, if you see, this is also butane, but it is the branched one. Now what is the difference between the two? If you see both, The representation is different, but if you count the number of hydrogen and carbon, it gives you the same molecular formula, that is C4H10. If you see on the left hand side, we have the three carbon atoms in a straight line, and the fourth carbon is branched out. It's coming out of a separation, a segregation is made. So this type of carbon compound where there is branching taking place, such type of compounds are called as com- branch structural formula or branch chain of compound. And in the right hand side, if you see, all the four carbons are placed next to each other in one straight line, and such type of compounds are called as your straight chain compound. So the tetravalency of carbon atoms are completed. So when the two different structural formulas, so we get two different structural formula, and when they join the hydrogen atoms are joined to complete the tetravalency of the carbon atom, to satisfy the tetravalency of carbon atom. The molecular formula is same, but the structural formula is different. Like we saw in the butane, there were two different formulas, structural formulas were different, but when we counted the number of hydrogen and carbon, we will get the same molecular formula, that is C4H10. Like here, if you see, the carbon representation is different. Such type of different compounds, only the difference is in the structure, are called as structural isomerism. Okay, only the difference is in the structure, but the molecular formula is same, then those type of compounds are called as structural isomerism. We have a closed chain one. When there is a closed chain, those compounds are called as ring form. They exist in ring nature. For example is cyclohexane. So if you see cyclohexane, all the carbon bonds are joined to each other, which gives it a ring structure, and the remaining valencies are fulfilled by the hydrogen atom. Now we have three types of compounds we have studied: hydrocarbon. One is straight chain hydrocarbon, branch chain hydrocarbon, and cyclic hydrocarbon. All these three types of hydrocarbons are either saturated hydrocarbons or unsaturated hydrocarbons. Let's study each of these hydrocarbons in detail now. The first one is a straight chain hydrocarbon. So we will take the example of straight chain hydrocarbon under saturated. The example is propane. If you see, it is saturated. What is saturated hydrocarbon? Saturated hydrocarbons are nothing but only single bond present between them. So when there are three carbon taking place, propane has three carbon, all the three carbon has a single bond present in them, and that is why it is coming under saturated hydrocarbon. Let's move to unsaturated hydrocarbon. We have the example of propene, which is nothing but one double bond present, and in propine we have one triple bond present. So the presence of double bond and triple bond makes the compound unsaturated. If it is only a single compound, a single bond, then that hydrocarbon is saturated. If it has a double or triple bond, then that hydrocarbon is your unsaturated hydrocarbon. Now we move to the next one, that is branched chain hydrocarbon. Now here we will take the example of butane. Under saturated hydrocarbon, we are getting isobutane. If you see this, it is nothing but butane only, but it is in the form of a branched one, and that is why the name is isobutane, because it is an isomeric form of butane, and that is why the word isobutane is come here. This is a saturated. Why saturated? Because all the four bonds between the carbon and carbon is nothing but single bond. Let's move to unsaturated. Unsaturated hydrocarbon is isobutylene. Now, why isobutylene? Because it is in the form of branched nature. It could be shown in a straight chain, but it is shown in the branched format, and that is why isobutylene is there. There is a double bond between carbon and carbon, and that is why it is unsaturated hydrocarbon. Last one is cyclic hydrocarbon. And in cyclic hydrocarbon, under saturated hydrocarbon, we have cyclohexane and cyclopentane. As the word cyclohexane, hexane stands for 6 and pentane stands for 5. So pentane and hexane, all the 6 in cyclohexane, there are 6 carbon. All the 6 carbons are joined by the single carbon atom, and in cyclopentane 5 carbon atoms are joined by the single bond, and the remaining bonds are formed by hydrogen molecule, and therefore the cyclohexane and cyclopentane come under saturated hydrocarbon. Whereas in unsaturated hydrocarbon, we again have cyclohexene, which has one double bond between two carbon atoms. There is only one double bond. But when we come to benzene, benzene is C6H6. It has alternate double and single bond between the six carbon atoms. So we have a double bond, single bond, double bond, single bond, double bond, single bond. So three single bond, three double bond between six carbon atoms. Because of the presence of double bond, it is coming under unsaturated hydrocarbon. So benzene is an unsaturated hydrocarbon because of the presence of double and single bond. Alternate or double bonds. These type of compounds are called as aromatic compounds. Okay, now let's move to the next topic, that is functional group in a carbon compound. Till now we have seen that the carbon, to fulfill the tetravalency of a carbon atom, the four bonds are been the four tetravalency is been completed by the hydrogen atom. It is not always necessary that the hydrocarbon will have hydrogen. To fulfill its valency, the hydrogen can be substituted by any other substituent such as halogen, oxygen, nitrogen, or sulfur. When these are substituted, halogen, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur atoms are substituted by with hydrogen, they are called as the heteroatom. The atom do not exist alone, but they come in group. That is, heteroatom is not always one, but they come in group. So when these group are joined to the carbon atom, the carbon compound will get the property of the heteroatom irrespective of the length and the nature of those atom, and that is why they are called as the functional group. We will be doing fuse functional group in the next slide. For example, if I take this hydrogen, this is nothing but your simplest hydrocarbon, methane. Here, all the four valencies are fulfilled by hydrogen. But in some case, this hydrogen, one of the hydrogen is eliminated and another heteroatom or a functional group is added. For here, I have added the halogen Cl, that is chlorine. So I get the compound CH3Cl. I will replace the halogen with OH, which is your alcohol. So I get the compound CH3OH. After OH, I will replace it with COH or CHO, which is an aldehyde. So my compound becomes CH3CHO. In this way, there are many other functional groups which are mentioned. When you replace them with one of the hydrogen atom, we get that functional group compound present here, and those properties will be completely depending on the functional group. Let's see the functional group. The first one is halogen. Halogen, we have chlorine, bromine, and iodine. The name is given as halo, and it's called chlorobromoiodine. Generally, it is expressed as X. In X, you can substitute Cl, Br, and I. Condensed form is the shorter version. It is the same thing. Then the heteroatom is oxygen. We said the heteroatom is never alone. It is coming in a combined form. It is a group of elements. So in oxygen, we have six types. The first one is alcohol. So when alcohol and oxygen, oh sorry, in alcohol we have oxygen and hydrogen coming together. So it becomes an OH bond. That is a, so the structural formula for alcohol is nothing but OH. Aldehyde is C double bond O and H, and that is why it is written as CHO. So whenever it is a CHO compound, it is nothing but an aldehyde compound. Ketone is represented as C double bond O. So two carbon, the carbon bond is having two single bond and one double bond. So ketone is CO. So if it is CO, it is understood that it is a double bond. Carboxylic acid is COOH. That means one carbon is ready to join with the main parent element. Second element, sorry, second bond is with the oxygen, and two remaining valency carbon atoms is bonded with oxygen, and it is the condensed form is written as COOH. Ether is O, only two bonds. So when there is only O present, that means it is ether. Next one is ester. Ester is C double bond O, and this condensed form is COO. Generally, there is a confusion between ester and ketone, and carboxylic acid and aldehyde. Last one is nitrogen. Nitrogen's name is amine, and the structural formula is NH on the side and H down, and in the condensed form it is called as NH2. This is the structural formula, and condensed form is, we just say that NH2 group. When I say NH2 group, that means it is the amine group. When I say COOH group, that means the compounds are formed as under the carboxylic acid group. So you will be studying this chart. Okay, students, we have already seen about the different functional groups in the table. Now we will study about each one in detail. I will be just giving you one example to show you all. So the first one is halogen. In halogen, we have three types: chlorine, bromine, and iodine. Then the next column, if you see, it is written chromo. It is not chromo, it is chlorobromoiodine. Okay. So if I take this as my alkane, I replace the hydrogen atom with any of the halogen atoms. So I can replace it with Cl, that is chlorine. I can replace it with bromine, that is Br, or I can replace it with I. So this is my halogen where I can replace it with my alkane. In generally, I can write it as X. So when it is X, it means it can either be chloride, bromide, or iodide halogen. One example, this is your example. Same way, only Br is written. This is your example of the parent alkene with a halogen functional group. Now we move to the next group of functional. So the next functional group of oxygen, in that first one is alcohol. Again, I take my alkane, I remove hydrogen and I place it with my alcohol functional group, that is OH. So this one is my alcohol. Let's see one example. So you can see this is one example which I am showing you, CH3OH. Okay, this is an example of alcohol where the functional group is OH. So alcohol generally have the functional group OH. When I replace the hydrogen atom with C double bond OH, which is read as CHO and not COH, it is CHO. CHO stands for aldehyde. One example, this is the example of an aldehyde. Again, if I have to read it, it will be read as CH3CHO. Aldehyde functional group is CHO, because O has double bond, that's why it is coming at the exterior. Next, when I replace the parent alkene with the hydrogen atom with a C double bond O. Now here if you see, I have written as CH3. Ketone generally, the carbon both on the left and the right hand side should have a different group. It can be same or different, but it cannot be replaced with hydrogen. Why it cannot be replaced with hydrogen? Imagine instead of CH3, if there was only hydrogen, then it would be similar to your aldehyde, and that is why instead of H I have written as CH3. I hope you understood. Now, if you see the C double bond O CH3, which is in orange color, instead of that CH3, if I would have written there H, then the functional group will become CHO, which is an aldehyde and not a ketone. So, when a ketone comes, you have to replace the H with any other alkane group. So, when I say alkane, it has can be with related to carbon and hydrogen. Let's see an example. So this is an example of a ketone. See, both the side of the carbon chain is different. One side it is CH3 and other side it is CH2 CH3. It can be same on left hand side and right hand side, but it cannot be hydrogen. If you place a hydrogen, then it will become a aldehyde and not a ketone. The next one in the next one in oxygen is carboxylic acid. So this is your alkane. I replace the hydrogen atom with C double bond OH. Okay, so this when the C double bond OH is coming, it is a carboxylic acid. The example here is CH3 double bond OH. Here CH3 is there, which is directly attached to COOH. Now the next one is OCH3, ether. Ether is oxygen is binding or bonding with two different groups over here. Okay, so here it is CH3. This is the example, CH3, CH2O, CH2, CH3. So the oxygen is nothing but a medium of bonding to different alkane group. Last one is C double bond O, and then any other thing you can add. But now again here instead of O, after O I have written CH3. What if I add H over here? If I add H, then it will now become COOH, which is your carboxylic acid. So instead of H we have to add any other methyl group, ethyl group, or any alkane group. See, let's see the example here. So if you see here, it is this one is the example. Let's move to the last functional group, that is amine. Amine is nothing but NHH, which is also read as NH2. We will take an alkane. This is nothing but ethane. When I replace the hydrogen with NH2, so this becomes my amine. Let's see one example. Here if you see CH3NH2. So this is your amine where the hydrogen is replaced with the NH2 group. So in all the previous functional group, you see that the hydrogen is being replaced with one of the functional group.
Carbon compounds rule the globe. They are present in almost all bits and pieces that we can see, touch or smell. However, when we say hydrocarbons, what does it exactly mean? Yes, in literal terms, we mean compounds made up of carbon and hydrogen. But tell me one thing, are all the carbon compounds only made up of carbon and hydrogen? Are there no other atoms that make up the compounds? If all the compounds will have only hydrogen and carbon, then every compound should have the same or similar properties, right? But that does not happen. We see a wide variety of properties in the carbon compounds because elements other than carbon and hydrogen can also be present in them. This gets us to the concept of functional groups. Now what could this mean? Let us understand this concept in a simple manner by splitting the terms. The word groups means a collection. That indicates a collection of atoms. And functional means having an important role or function. This tells us that the functional group is a group of atoms that have an extremely important role in the functionality of the compound that they are present in. Yes, say there is a random compound WXYZ which is attached to the functional group AB. In this case, the properties of this entire compound are majorly determined by the functional group AB. There is another way in which we can understand functional groups. They are defined as the groups of atoms which have definite properties. These functional groups impact the properties to the compound in which they are present. The presence of functional groups defines the properties irrespective of the length of the principal chain of carbon or side chains attached to it. Do we know a few examples of functional groups? Of course we do. You must have come across the terms alcohols, aldehydes, ketones, phenols, and so on. These are nothing but functional groups. So let us say we take a carbon chain of 10 carbon units. The carbon chain may be straight chain or a branched one. Say it has an alcoholic functional group attached to it. This was the case of saturated hydrocarbons. Same holds true for unsaturated hydrocarbons as well. Now in any case, the properties of the compound formed will depend on two factors. First factor is the presence or absence of a single, double or triple covalent bonds between the carbon atoms. It means the compound being saturated or unsaturated will define many of its reactions. Another important influencing factor is the presence of a functional group. It is this group that gives the characteristic properties to the We all love the company of our favorite people. Similarly, hydrocarbon chains are also fond of other molecules. They get bonded so strongly that the properties of the compound change depending on the molecules attached. And what are these groups of molecules referred to as? They are called as the functional groups, that's right. Let's get to know about them. Beginning with the definition first. How do we define them? In simple words, these are the groups of atoms that give characteristic properties to the compounds in which they are present. Yes, their presence is quite influential. If they're a part of a compound, the entire compound takes its properties. Have we come across any of the functional groups ever? Yes, we've heard many names like alcohols, phenols, ethers, and so on. Look at the structures carefully. What do you notice? It helps us understand that they have atoms which can form at least one bond with any other atom. Yes, at least one atom in the complete group is ready for bond formation. Let's understand this in a simple way. Say we focus on the structure of alcohol. This functional group has one oxygen atom and one hydrogen atom. That means a hydroxyl unit is what makes up the alcoholic group. Can you notice that we've drawn a line before oxygen here? What does this indicate? Well, it indicates that the group is available for bond formation. So there can be any other atom bonded to the oxygen atom of this hydroxyl unit. So if I take any carbon chain, say something like this, then we can attach the alcoholic functional group at the carbon atom which is available for bond formation. And the new compound gets formed in this way. Similarly, talking about the functional group carboxylic acid, its structure is somewhat like this. Represented as dash followed by COOH. The group contains one carbon atom. Out of the 4 bonds that it can form, 3 are already formed. As we can see here, one oxygen atom is attached to the carbon atom with a double bond, while another single bond is with the hydroxyl group. This is how we get COOH as our carboxyl group. Now from here, where will this group be attached to the hydrocarbon chain? Yes, from the carbon atom. And why is that? We know that the valency of carbon is 4. 3 bonds in the functional group have got formed, leaving behind just 1. That is why the line is drawn before the carbon atom, which indicates that the group can be attached from here. Where do you think will this group be attached? It can be attached to an alkyl group. Wait, what do we mean by an alkyl group? We've seen what alkanes, alkenes and alkynes are. Single bonds, alkanes, at least one double bond, alkenes, and at least one triple bond, alkynes. So what is an alkyl group then? Let's take an example of ethane to understand this. We can see that each carbon atom here has its valencies completely fulfilled, 4 and 4. However, if we remove even one hydrogen atom, then the group becomes capable of forming bonds with other compounds. Like in this case, it can bond with a functional group from this point. This thing that you see here is an alkyl group. It is just derived from an alkane by removing one of its hydrogen atoms. That's all. Here it's derived from ethane. Hence it's called an ethyl group. Similarly, if we remove one hydrogen atom from methane, it will be called as methyl group. Alkyl groups are usually represented with the letter R written in uppercase. This was a general overview of what alkyl groups are. But the main topic of this video was functional groups. They're a group of atoms that give characteristic properties to the compounds in which they are present. The entire compound takes its property.
Let's move to the next topic, that is homologous series. Functional groups, like we saw in the previous slide, they take up the place of hydrogen atom on the carbon chain. Large number of compounds are formed having the same functional group but different length of carbon chain. So as the number of carbon increases, the length of carbon chain increases. Same number of same functional group can be added in the different carbon compounds, but when we add it on the different carbon compounds, the compound changes. For example, if you see here, there are compounds in which the functional group added is a alcohol. So when we add it to the first compound, it is methanol. Methane is replaced, the 4 hydrogen, out of which 1 hydrogen is replaced by the OH group, that is alcohol group. We get methanol. Ethane, there are 2 carbon atoms. When one of the hydrogen atom is replaced, we get ethanol. Next one is propanol. Fourth one is butanol. So if you can see on the right hand side, on the not on the right hand, the fourth column, OH is replaced, the hydrogen is replaced by OH, and we get the specific alcoholic group. As the number of carbon increases, the chain is increasing and the compounds are varying. So this is called as a homologous series, where the alcohol group or the functional group is same, but the number of the parent element or the atom, that is the carbon, is increasing. so the length of the carbon chain increases, and therefore the chemical properties also changes. Even though they have the same functional group, the properties are different in different components. The series of compounds formed by joining the same functional group in the place of particular hydrogen atom on the chain have sequentially increasing length are called as homologous series. So methanol, ethanol, propanol, butanol and the further series, they are called as homologous series. Why? Because the hydrogen atom is being replaced by the functional group of alcohol, and the series of elements, the carbon is keeping on increasing. Different homologous series are in accordance with the functional group. So I will have different homologous series as my functional group changes. For example, I showed in the picture image was the functional group for alcohol. Similarly, I can have the functional group for carboxylic acid, aldehyde, ketones, ester. So homologous series will change with respect to my different functional group. So we can have the homologous series for carboxylic acid, aldehydes, etc. depending upon the functional group I select. Now, for example, this is the structure of methane. Now, if you see, this is nothing but your CH2 molecule or a compound. Similarly, if I take this 2 carbon is nothing but your ethane. Here there are two CH2 bonds. When I go to the third one, that is propane, here there are three CH2 bond taking place. Now we'll go to the next part, that is homologous series of alkanes. Now if you see here, from methane to hexane, the number of carbon atom is increasing, and as the number of carbon atom is increasing, the number of CH2 unit is also increasing. As I showed in the previous slide, in methane we have only one CH2 unit, ethane we have two, in propane we have three. Similarly, in butane, pentane, and hexane, as the number of carbon atom increases, you will draw the structural formula and then find out the number of CH2 units. The last column is about boiling point. If you see, the boiling point of methane is minus 162, and for that of hexane it is 69. That means it is from negative to positive. That means the alkanes are have the lowest boiling point. That means as from methane to hexane we move, the boiling point is increasing. As the number of carbon atom increases, the boiling point also increases. Next one is the homologous series of alcohol. Now here alcohol, the hydrogen is replaced with the OH group. So first we have methanol, the CH2 unit is 1. Ethanol we have 2 CH2 unit, and then for propanol butanol you all will find out how much. You will derive the structural formula, count the carbon atom and the CH2 unit. The boiling point, again if you see, for methanol it is 63 degrees Celsius, and for butanol it is 108. So what can we say? That the boiling point is lowest for the basic hydrocarbon, that is methane, and it is increasing as we increase the number of carbon atoms. Same way goes with alcohol. The basic or the lowest alcohol is methanol, and as we increase the number of carbon, as the carbon chain increases, the boiling point also increases. Next is homologous series of alkenes. Alkenes is nothing but double bond. So ethene, it has zero. Now why there is zero CH2 unit? If you see the structure here, carbon is joined by a double bond. There is no single bond present between carbon and carbon, and that is why the number of CH2 unit in ethene is zero. In propene it is 1. For ibutene and 1-pentane, you will have to find out what it is by deriving the structure. Here also the boiling point from negative, it is increasing to 30. That means it is in the increasing order. Now, CH2 is known as the methylene unit. So, if you see in the table 1, 2, and 3, that is homologous series of alkane, alcohol, and alkenes, what can we say that the methylene unit goes on increasing from the first hydrocarbon to the towards the end of the series. The molecular, since there is CH2 unit increases, the molecular mass rises by 14. Okay, so the molecular rise by 14 Dalton. U is, we have already studied what does U represent in our previous class. The boiling point is a physical property of the compound which is in the increasing order in any homologous series. The first compound will have the lowest melting point, and as we increase the number of carbon, as the carbon chain increases towards the end, the boiling point also increases. So let's move to the next part, that is the for finding the general formula. So now here general molecular formula for homologous series alkane is CnH2n plus 2. So when we see the molecular formula and when we compare it, we get the general formula as CnH2n plus 2, where n is nothing but the number of carbon atoms. So for example, if I take carbon as 1, that is N as 1, I will get C1 H2 into 1 plus 2, which is nothing but your CH4, which is your methane. Now I take the number of carbon atom as 2. So when I take the number of carbon atom as 2, I get C2H2 into 2 plus 2, that is C2H6, which is my second member, that is my second component or second ethane molecule. So as my number, so if I keep on increasing the value of N, I will get the increasing member of your alkane series, that is homologous series of alkene. Next one, general molecular formula for the homologous series of alkenes. Now what is the alkenes? Alkenes is nothing but CnH2n. So when I take your N is equal to 2. Now why N is equal to 2? Because methane has only one. From ethane we start with double bond, and that is why alkenes is always with 2 carbon and more. So when I take N is equal to 2 and substitute in the general molecular formula, I get C2H2 into 2, which is equal to C2H4, which is my first alkene, that is ethene. When I take N as 3, I get C3H2 into 3, that is C3H6, which is my second alkene, that is propene. And as I increase my number of carbon atoms, I will get an increasing order of the alkene group. Third one is the general molecular formula for the homologous series of alkynes. This is not there in your textbook, the image. This is just an extra information which I have given. This also, the general formula is CnH2n minus 2. Again, here we will not have the one carbon atom. We will start with two carbon atoms. So when I take N is equal to 2 and substitute it, I will get C2H 2 into 2 minus 2, which is C2H2, which is my first alkyne, that is ethyne. When I take N is equal to 3, I get C3H2 into 3 minus 2, which is equal to C3H4, which is my second member called as propyne.